we've talked. Good morning. I'm a little bit under the weather, so my voice is cracking up. But I do want to mention about the bike ride. How many of you are aware of the bike ride we have been doing last 2 years? Many of you are. Okay. It's a 130-mile bike ride portfolio. We call that Rotary Bike Ride. First year we had 37 people riding it, and 9 people finished 130 miles. Second year we had 32 people starting it from Sherwood, and 7 people completed 130 miles. Now the question I have for you, should we continue this bike ride? Because we need your support. I'm going to pass this. I have preliminarily made the announcement, and this is what we are doing, promoting, and we have a website. That's the website. We have that domain name, and we have about 10 SAG stops. We start at Sherwood, and 10 different places. We have people supporting the support and gear stop so they can get a drink or a energy bar or something like that. We do have support from many county police who will be passing by. One of the things we noticed in the last 2 years is I normally go with the last rider, supporting them on the side. If we have several number of people driving on the second lane on the right-hand side, while the riders are going, they feel safe. This is on the shoulder of Route 30. There are police cars coming in when we cross through different counties. They will also be riding on the right-hand side. The only problem we have is because different riders have to go at different speeds. In fact, last year was a champion who finished from Sherwood to Fort Wayne riding bike by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Most people finish 5:30, 6 o'clock. He was flying, literally. So that means police support him, but in between there are a lot of people who may not be supported. So we need support from you. If you have somebody from your club riding, then you can drive along so they have a support. So what do you think? Should we have the bike ride? That's my first question. Because without your support, we cannot have it. What do you think?
It's on a
Is
Sunday,
the
so I
primary
won't.
goal fundraising or
Yes.
awareness? Okay,
It's
so.
PR and fundraising.
Okay.
We raised first year $3,200 portfolio. The registration fee is $40 for non-Rotarians, $130 for Rotarians. Doesn't matter how much they ride. A lot of people ride only 10 miles or 20 miles or 30 miles. So $90, $130 goes to the folio, credit to the person who gave it.
And is the $3,000 match?
Yes.
Is it not? And
So-
the second year, how much?
Second year was $1,200. We did not have that many Rotarians riding. So that's what happened second year. So that's what I was asking. If you think we have to have the right, we will have that. If you think there is no support from you, we really need to think about it.
Can I give you some feedback? My
Sure.
husband's a competitive cyclist, and when I talked to him about it, his reaction was, "I'm not going to ride on the shoulder of US 30. It's too dangerous, and I just won't do it. I'm concerned about the surface, and I'm concerned about all the truck traffic." And so that I just wanted to share that because that's the feedback I got from him and some of his cycling buddies in Florida.
Yes, large number of people have indicated to us. That's why we have on the right lane, our cars going by, so trucks cannot come over there. And it is going to be Sunday, the minimal truck traffic. And the county police is helping us. We try to do it as much as possible. Either shoulder cleared, we have tried 2 years in a row with INDOT. 1 year they said we'll clear it, next year they said we won't clear it because this is right after the spring. They want to wait a little bit so they can remove the nails and things like that. So we have had about 3 or 4 people having to change their tires. That happens,
Yeah.
you know. But if you think we need to do it, we will do it. What's your sentiment on this? I know you gave me feedback.
I'm a weekend cyclist,
Uh-huh.
so
130 miles is way too much. for
Oh,
me.
nobody does 130 miles. I told you only
Right.
7 people completed it.
But the competitive part of me would be like, bike rides are great. They certainly promote recreation and exercise and everything like that. Do you think that just having the 130 attached to it is kind of daunting to people?
No, there are 7 people finished. Don't change it. You probably know there's another bike ride in Indiana, 140 miles. That happens in July. We are in the top 1/3 of the state. They are in the middle 1/3 of the state, starting in Bloomington and up the other side, Indiana. They 140 miles. They've got close to 3,000 riders.
You talking about the Hilly 100?
Pardon?
Are you talking about the Hilly 100?
No, it's a rain ride.
There's a Hilly 100 in Bloomington, around Bloomington, and they use county roads. They don't use main roads.
This is on Indiana 40.
Got it.
They call it rain ride, 140 miles. They have been doing it for the last 20 years. So, I'm getting,
I've got 2 suggestions for
Yep.
you. Okay, one, I think you could raise more money if you made it a mini marathon, a marathon, or 5K or something like that. I think you'd have more participation. And with something like that, or the other thing to do is make it into a motorcycle event with stops. I think you would have more participation that way also.
okay, these are all additional good things, honestly.
Just wanted to let you know that there's a pumpkin wine ride in Middlebury area, and that's happening June 15th. So I know it's not a conflict, but maybe people are super more because it's the 20th year.
Okay. We have people starting in Sherrville, stopping in Mulberry. We have people starting in Sherrville, stopping in Warrenton. Then we have people starting in Plymouth, starting somewhere in Warsaw. Then we have people starting in Warsaw, finishing up in Fort Wayne. So different people start at different points. So,
Question,
yeah,
do we have a cooperation with a bicycling club?
this year we have a shop called A1 Bicycle and Nature Center in Meadowville. They want to be part of it, but I don't know how many riders they will get. So this is the first time they said, maybe last year, that outfit joined us.
So is anybody here a member of a cycling club? No.
I'm West President of the Park Board in Newton County, and we started one, and we ride the county roads. Somebody had that comment. We had 40 riders in the first one. So, you know, they're not gravel. We picked all blacktop roads. They're through the Nature Conservancy where the bison are, and up to Little Slough, the DNR property. And there are a lot of people from Lake, some from Jasper, Demont. There was a big crew of bicycle riders over there, and they said, we come to Newton County all the time because A, there are no cars, B, there are no houses and dogs. So they ride through our country because it's whatever, bucolic. So, but there's a bicycling club in Demont.
I'm not aware of it.
So is there an opportunity, if 30 is a safety issue, Highway 30 on the shoulder, is there an opportunity to change the route?
One of the things I asked the riders, do you think we should change? They said, other than the 2 miles near Meadowville, they said, this ride is fantastic. That's what they told me. I don't ride the bike, I support the movement. In the sense, I'm organizing that.
I know there's a shop in South Bend, out back there, has a lot of bicycle clubs associated with it. If they want to start in Plymouth, let's say, and go to Fort Wayne, is there a time when they would start, and is there a schedule that's there?
Police will keep track of the first rider passing that stop. They allow the other riders. We ask the police if the first rider has to cross that point, then the other riders join. Because our ride starts at 6:30 in Sherrville. So let's say you're crossing the Plymouth around 12 o'clock, then all the people from Plymouth start. First rider crosses that point.
So I want to say, that if you went there, say, if people want to start in Plymouth, they would get there at 10.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Many people do that. We have a large number of people from Fort Wayne starting at Columbia City and finishing pretty much.
And I think you don't want to lose the significance of when you said the first one was $3,400, do the multiplication from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, that'd be over $10,000 for the county. That's a significant fundraiser proposal.
That makes a difference.
In Monticello, we had one of the swim ride bicycle.
Triathlon.
Triathlon, yeah. And we tried it for a couple of years, and we thought we were doing real well, and we decided to drop it, even though, you know, we had the lake there and everything else. But what we do have is about $1,000 worth of timing equipment, if anybody else is interested in getting into it.
We hired that.
Oh, never mind, we hired it.
Smithville does have one.
Our problem with that,
Not-
our situation with that is it wasn't sanctioned. You know, I don't know if that's in the bike thing too, but a lot of the, you know, are hard driven. They want a sanctioned race so they can move up.
Not a race.
That was a marathon, no.
Yeah, this is not a race, this is just a rotary bike ride. When for you to bring awareness. So
Do you go after sponsors?
Pardon?
Do you go after any sponsors?
Yeah, we have a track band, you probably saw that.
Well, I mean, other than,
We haven't had it.
because we
You need to go.
we do a road rally
Uh-huh,
at ours, and I go after sponsors, and I make signs and put them along the road.
yes.
And that would be a little extra money coming in.
I need all these ideas. Become a team, we need to have a group which you are interested, we need to make this happen.
But
Your
you're right,
original
you're right.
question was, should we continue?
Should we
this?
continue to have the
So
ride?
let's get back to that, and my position for my club is, I can't provide a rider fund for you, but I will continue to support it by volunteering like I did last year. And for $10,000, it's significant, I think we should continue.
Would everyone be willing to go back to your clubs and check in your area and see if there is a bicycle sales, marketing place that might promote a section of the race?
Yeah.
And get that back to Ron John?
Yeah, thank you. I don't want,
But Ron John, if I'm correct, that 3,000 was the first year, and last year was considerably lower.
because the Rotarians did not ride. Regular riders rode, 32 people.
Yeah.
But the Rotarians slipped off.
I think that's a concern with the bike ride. We don't have anybody in our club who will ride.
You had volunteers.
Yeah, we have volunteers, but I think if we're maybe look for an event that more people can participate in, so we could get Rotarians in, because bike riding is kind of really specialized, I think, you know, but more a walk, a run, or a motorcycle tend to bring out a lot more people.
Well, let me know if you have,
You could talk with your local hospital and see if they would be interested in all three, and if they did, the hospital and the
One thing about doing it on county roads is you could run it like a tour to Rotary or something, and actually take it through downtowns, through some of the smaller downtowns, and have the towns themselves set up stops. It'd be a little safer, and I have about 20 rider friends in Plymouth who would do it if it wasn't on US 30.
Yeah.
I think you get more participation.
I'm in.
And throw some wine in there.
Well, that will go to your legs. A lot of wine.
Yeah.
One around Syracuse Lake. So you're talking about a multitude of families and as well as those enthusiastic riders. And it is on the county roads, but we also have making sure that they're clean. That they go in and pick the rocks and things like that, as well as marking. So it's in that which level you want, you can go through different levels.
is that for any particular fundraiser? Which one?
It's for the trails that go in there and so forth, yeah, and the children. So the connection is also you need to get with your bike clubs and so forth, and they also have it in the magazine
So I went to the A1 bicycle.
I'll go on a couple fundraising rides a year. I like to plan them out because the way the man is schedule. And I use in a lot of bike riders, cyclists, a website, Bike Rides Louisiana, lists and maps.
Yeah, we list them all the time,
It's
yeah.
not listed on.
It's not listed? We have a couple of riders who take the
The
information.
statistics for how many people visit.
Right.
It's not on.
Okay. That's why we need, you got a lot of information. You be part of the group which can use that information. So I don't want to take too much of your time. If you have any suggestions on want to be part of this group, send me an email. You have my email in that advertisement. Okay. Please send me an email. Where?
Yeah. Ranjan has, since his voice is so good, he doesn't want to be an auctioneer and he's shy. And I'm not. But we're gonna auction off shirts from the last 2 years. In case you want to know what size they are, they're all large. Right? Every size, every large. Money goes to polio. Okay? We're gonna do this real quick because Jack's got stuff to do.
I have a quick question. Did the people who rode in it get a T-shirt already?
Yes.
Okay.
And you're
Those
gonna
right at the issue.
and you're gonna take these back and you're gonna show people when you're trying to market this. Okay? Here's what we're doing. I mean, that's my idea. I'd say here. What? Yeah. Let's go. All right. So we'll start off with the inaugural year. Anybody give me $20? All right, we got 20. Anybody 25? Going once? Going twice? $20 in the back.
Am I gonna have to buy all of these?
Yeah, you get the picture last night. You know, folks, you may get together and one person gets a shirt and one person gets the glory. Whatever it is. Okay, I got another shirt. $20. Hey, $20 right here. Joe, anybody 25? I got 20. Anybody give me 25, 25, 25? We have 20, 20, 25. Here we go. Joe Maloney. Thank you, Joe. I may not be good, but I'm slow. We've got one more of the inaugural shirts. 20 right here. Anybody have that?
What are we at, 20 or
20, you gotta go 25, Roberta.
Okay, 25.
25. Anybody 30, 25? We're looking for 30, 30, 30, 30, 25, 25. Sold. Right here. Jane, you want to do your arm load?
You can yell them out. I'll do the
Where?
distribution and the,
Now we have the second fashion coordinated color in blue. Quite nice. Like this. Can you tell what it's for on the back? Certainly. Okay, we'd like to open the bidding for this for $20. If you didn't get one of the yellow ones, these were much more popular. 20, anybody give me 20? All right, I got 20, 25? 25. Got $25, anybody give me 30, 25?
30.
30, all right. We got 30, anybody give me 35? Going once? $30.
great job, John.
I won't be able to talk when it's my turn again. You guys will all be better off.
So by taking a picture of this.
All right, here we got two 1,250-pound steers. They're in the market. We're ready to stay. Oh no, that's my background. I'm sorry. The T-shirt. Anybody give me $20? 20?
They're all large.
Huh? They're all, huh?
They're all the same.
Yeah, large. $20. Going once? 25, all right. Didn't even have 20, she did 25. I'm not smart, but I'm honest. Thank you. All right, there's only two left. $20, right there. 25? 25? I got 20. 25. All right. Our district governor nominee designate. Congratulations, thank you. All right, the last, final, one and only, size large T-shirt, $50. Oh. Okay, how about 20?
I got one back here for 40.
All right, $20. We got 20 right here. Anybody 25? 20 going once? Great, thank you.
Good job. Thank you, Ron. John. Still think you can go to
John Fritchie, stay up here. Your turn, John.
It'll be a pet you never forget. They say it a good way, and you won't forget.
I did this to get what kind of shot we have to get? Shingles when you're old. To get the booster shot. I got long clothes, it's cold, I go in there and take my shirt off, well, my acting shirts. And that was quite entertaining. Pharmacist is a Purdue guy, so he let everybody in line and don't look over there in the corner.
Okay, let me explain to you, okay? If this is introverted, this is extroverted, I'm here, and John is there. Would you please welcome John Fritchie to talk to you for a few minutes?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm not really shy. I usually have fun. And I want you to take a look at this now. What do you think? Like that shirt? Huh?
You love that.
Well, thank you. Don't hold back, Chris. How's that?
Your sleeves still turn.
So I'm going to go back to my Rotary group, and they're going to ask me what happened. And I said, there was this guy in the last session that kept taking his clothes off and on. I'm not sure the point he was trying to
But he always had another layer underneath. All right, well, this is a Rotary shirt, folks. Now, you don't see the small print, but it's from a Rotary Club of Sanibel, Florida. I spent some time there on vacation. And I'm telling you the whole thing this morning. You see about the colors, and I'm seeing about this, and changing things. This is not your grandfather's Rotary anymore. Okay? So if your club wants some kind of, oh man, is that a Rotary shirt back there, Roberta?
Yep.
Okay, look at that. Kentland moved out of the dark ages. We have.
And we went, the women chose the green, so the guys had to stick with it.
So I'm saying for your club, and we've talked about membership, a lot of people talked about it. First thing I think is you got to have a club somebody wants to come to. Sorry, you got to be welcoming. You got to greet people when they come in the door. You need a big mouth like John that's standing here this morning and going around and talking to people and making them feel welcome. People in church, like you go to church, most people don't like to be introduced when they're visiting the church. People want to do that. But if you go up and personally just say welcome, you don't have to do the hand sanitizer thing, just welcome them, be friendly, and personal, mean it. And so far in here, there's only one person I met I wouldn't take fishing, and that's my gauge of friends. No, it's good. I didn't want to go anywhere. That's the rule I had. There are people I've worked with that I, thought they were great. I wouldn't take fishing. There were other people that I thought weren't very good at work, but they were a lot of fun fishing. Right. So there's got some classifications. All right, Chris, move one here. Are we talking about goals this morning? Oh, I have the remote, don't I? I have it, laid it down. Forgot where. Hello. Oh, now I get to go back. I like that. All right, being in agriculture, and I made up this slide. And if you can't tell, that's about a $300,000 combine that's harvesting, looks like soybeans, and a big grain truck there. And inside the cab of that combine is an 80-year-old man with a straw hat, bib overalls. Are you getting the picture? Piece of straw in his mouth. And if you could see him, he's saying, "Yes, son, I've seen a lot of changes in my time, and I've been against all of them, except this GPS steered automatic air conditioning combine. I kind of like Rotary's that way. We've had a lot of changes, a lot more coming. Embrace the ones that work for you in your club. Put them in your goals. The ones that you know you can't sell, yeah. No use to try to fight that. I hope during this conference, not just in this room, but throughout the breakout sessions, that you've seen a good picture of Rotary. And a picture, hopefully, well, that you may have not seen before. And you now know things that people in your club haven't seen. Okay? It's still a secret. You're a secret. So, you're the visionary leader. Get some ideas. Think about it. You've talked to clubs. And I've heard people say, you know, I'm pretty excited about my club. I heard about what they do, and that's boring. But I've heard it the other way. You know, we've got some work to do. There's things we can improve, projects, bike rides, whatever. Next thing is plan your year before July 1st. That's why PEPs, President-elect training. Do it before July 1st. You know your club, and I'm not telling you to go home and wreck the club, because there may be some sacred ground there, okay? And there may be somebody that's been a committee chair of something for 25 years. And you're not going to change that, probably, successfully. You're going to hurt feelings, okay? You're going to cause people to work against you. So you've got some marketing to do. And you may have to figure out that if it's a new project that kind of replaces that one, or if it's something that you can get some help and ideas with modifying it, so it's more adaptable today. But you're in charge of appointing the committee chairs. And as we said the other day, make sure they're in Club Runner. And as of yesterday, we have every highly functioning club in the district. We have every club but one integrated with Rotary International. So when they enter a new member in their Club Runner, it goes off to Evanston. That was a goal of mine. We're talking about goals. Last year when I started, there were 4. Okay? And now, realistically, there are 9. Okay? I'm excited. So when you put them in, though, you got to put them in or we can't use them. You've heard that. The next one is use presidential citation as a framework for your goals. I see people out working with the presidential citation this morning. That's good. Anybody want to explain what that is? Have you seen it? Okay, can you explain what it is? Okay, I'll make a, does anybody want to try? Here's a microphone. Oh. Presidential citation is a goal-setting device by every international president. And the one you're looking at, and you have handed these out, right, Al? Okay, I thought you had them memorized. They should be tattooed to your chest. Carry them in your purse. There's more over here. They're bringing them around. The presidential citation is the forward-thinking, what does it say? Visionary goals. Who's our new international president? Okay. So Mark said this is what I'd like for Rotary to do this year. He talked about it a little bit in his speech. And if you look, the best thing, if you just look at this side right over here, under the blue. First one is, I believe, Rotary Clubs, then I think it's Rotaract, and then it's Interact Clubs. They have vision citations too. So if you look at this, and maybe I'm going to take the time, appoint an active club membership committee comprised of no less than 5 members and report to the chair to Rotary International. That means you put that committee chair in Club Runner, boop, 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 it goes, okay? Thanks, Mark. We're working on that. Achieve a net gain in membership. That's up to you and your club to pick how much you want to change membership. Okay? There are clubs actually who probably are at their appropriate size. I'm sorry. But for the number of projects, the community, there could be clubs that don't really need more members. It's hard to believe, okay? Some clubs basically have a meeting area that only holds so many people. So you got to think about that. But 95% of the clubs could use more members, I think. So you want to go look for creative people. Retention. Find out what they want to do. Don't say, here's my document of what we do in the Rotary Club, which one do you want to do? Huh? Oh, maybe they want to pick out something you're not doing. Maybe they've got an idea. Maybe it's a new, exciting idea that would replace the old boring one that you want to fire the committee chair but can't. Huh? Contrary to popular belief, people under the age of 70 have a lot of good ideas. Even under the age of 30. So, listen up. Mitty Chang, did you ever hear him? Did a pretty good job last night, didn't he? He's amazing. Do you know what your club retention rate was last year? I'm sorry. Your club retention rate was last year. This is the next item on column B. No. Well, you're going to learn to look on there. It's part of that membership thing, and it's this chart you can get to in Rotary Club Central. Conduct a study of your members' occupations and work. And look, maybe you need somebody from the field you overlooked, like the person that owns the grain elevator, or the person that owns the repair shop, or the body shop, or some of these other people. New Rotary Club, Rotary Corps, and there are people here that are working on new Rotary Clubs. We are now. Dan Ryan? I'm sorry to wake you up. What's the status of the new Rotary Club?
Well, we formed 4 over the last few years, and the call-out meeting for Austin Rotary is April 23rd. They complimented I talked yesterday, he did a great job with that.
That was breaking news. Aussie and Rotary? Huh? No. You hear it here first. You can start a new club. You can start, a satellite club. Some clubs are doing that. Who has a satellite club here?
Valpo.
Louder. No, wait. I think louder.
Valpo formed up in here.
Right here. Come on. How was that? Is that exciting?
Sure. So,
I do.
Okay, my name's Andrew. I'm from Valparaiso. This is Don, our president nominee. Last year when Doug Mockner and I left PEDS, we both had an inclination of younger members and improving membership. And we knew of a core group of young professionals in downtown Valparaiso that were the target market. So we reached out to a couple of them. One of them's an associate that works for me in my law firm, so that was easy. I just made him do it. And there was a real group of core young professionals in Valparaiso that didn't want to do 12 o'clock lunch. I mean, all the stuff they've talked about here. They don't want to do 12 o'clock lunch. The dues were too high. They wanted more social activity versus writing checks. And when you've heard that throughout this training, it's really true. There was a core group of mid-20-somethings in Valpo that fit that exact mold. And they got together. You'd be shocked. They probably meet for 2 or 3 hours at a time every 2 weeks so far this year. And then they come, oh, we're not sure we're getting enough done. And I said, good luck getting a Rotarian to a 3-hour meeting 3 times a month, okay? You're doing great. So they actually have about 15 folks in the club, and their model is this. They meet twice a month. It's usually in a social environment. If they have a speaker at all, it's more of here's a professional in the community who mixes amongst the group rather than here's a formal 30-minute presentation. And then they are always planning their next community event. They have worked with the 4-H Spark Club in town. They have done leadership stuff at the local community theater, and that's what motivates them. Probably the only hiccup, if there were 2 hiccups in the club, one of which was the grumbly old members who were not excited about cutting dues for them. You know, we have we're a very old club, 160 folks, and we have a lot of traditional members. One of our younger members just said, hey, here's a great thing, we're going to do it, and we did it. The other current thing is we did cut their dues. We basically cut their dues to the point that we pay, they count as members of the club. So we just, all we collect from them is their national dues, I believe, and we cut them a break on the district dues to get their dues down to 125. Basically, they're at cost for national for us. And it has become a question. Of course, the point is to try and get these people to transition into the big club as they get older, but it has become a question, okay, they're paying half of everybody else. How do we make that fair to them if they want to sort of be involved in the big club? Where's the threshold line of crossing over? We've got one young lady that's involved in both and wants to pay younger members. That's some of the hiccups, but you know, for gain of 15 young folks in the club, those are all issues we can certainly work out.
If you
Yes, sir.
cut the dues, but then make an age cutoff, once you reach 35, you have to join the regular club. Was that ever discussed?
No, I'm not sure that's the direction we're going to go because the intent is not to be just young members. The intent is to try and attract folks that otherwise would find Monday lunch 4 times a month boring. The intent is not necessarily to attract just younger folks. The intent is to attract people who are looking to do service in a different model. I can tell you that the Satellite Club does a lot more service projects, probably cuts fewer checks, but does more actual work in the community. And the intent is to attract folks, it's to attract those folks, not necessarily just that age bracket. It just so happens that the age bracket most interested in that is the young one.
I thought that 30 years was for the Rotary.
That's a Rotary.
Yeah. So, yeah, but I mean, if you satellite clubs, I think it could be.
Satellite club, that member is a member of the home club and treated the same as anybody.
But if you get like 80 members in the satellite club and you're subsidizing the dues, then it's going to drain the main
Well,
one.
the club can make a decision when they get to 20 whether they want to form their own
Yeah.
club.
Yeah, and that was an issue. I mean, there was some concern, are we going to take away from the big club by forming our own club? That's a problem I'd love to have to deal with someday if we get that big. I mean, there's good problems and bad problems. That'd be a great problem to deal with, so.
Are these young folks interested in the international stuff?
You know,
The polio, the foundation?
I would guarantee they will be once they're exposed to it. I don't think they've been exposed to that part of Rotary. As you folks know, until you get fairly deep into Rotary, you don't get exposed to the national stuff and the speakers talking about going overseas. I mean, you need to be in Rotary for a while before that really sinks in. I would guess once some of these younger folks get involved, that's something they will be. They just haven't yet. We just started it last year, and they just got all their call outs and things done. So we're still working through the details of their interaction with the big club.
Okay, Andrew, thank you. I'm going to make one other point here. Andrew survived this last year?
Yes.
Okay, and he came back. I mean, it's crazy. I would like for all the president nominees that are in this room currently, and I know one, I think, had to go home. Would you please stand? President nominees. Means you're going to be president, and not this year, but the next year. Got it? That's an idea you want to think about in your club. Succession, bring 2 years of leadership. Okay? Makes a lot more sense the second year because it's kind of like being like a big glass and a large pitcher. If you're just here the first time and you're fairly young into Rotary, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, stuff. Okay. Sponsor, co-sponsor an Interact Club. They're easy to start. High school, get them going. Rotaract Club, they don't have to be in college anymore. You've heard all that. It's just a group of people in that age group that want to do good in the world. Rotary alumni and highlight Rotary's network opportunities. Have something in your community Or you're not expecting everybody to come and fill out a membership application. Just have them come hear about Rotary. Share something fun. Find a speaker like Dan Ryan or, I don't know, Jack Cross or somebody to come and fire up your crowd. They'll do a good job. Dan's amazing. I mean, people in the leadership roles will come to your club and do programs and a little food. All right. Achieve at least 5 of the following. I'm in the Take Action group. Appoint an active club foundation committee. All right, so we've covered an active membership committee, an active foundation committee. Keyword there is active. And I'm not going to spill what's coming later this morning, but there are going to be some changes in the foundation funding programs in the district. How about that, Al? Is that a good way? Both your year and the next year?
And the next year.
Yeah, okay. Now we've got a triumph for whatever that is. Increase the number of members involved in service projects. Some members young, don't count them absent from a meeting if they show up to work, and encourage them to come and work on a project. It's a revolutionary idea, okay? Would it be more important that you teach a child to read because you read to them at school, or because you sit there and hungry and eat fried chicken and listen to John Fish going, oh my God, this is interesting? No. A Rotary program is not the key to Rotary anymore. It's getting things done. So and you can invite people to your service projects who aren't members yet. Oh, you can? Well, sure. Come on, see how much fun we have. Make sure you're having fun. Contribute at least $100 per capita. Any club that doesn't do that currently, that would be if you have 20 members, you have $2,000 for foundation. Is that right? 2,000? Okay, well that's something to work on, and it's achievable. It's more than achievable. The highest club last year was $340 per member, I believe, off the top of my head. It's been as high as $600 per member. Okay? You can do it lots of ways. If you want to know about lots of ways, talk to me. Talk to Dan. There are lots of ways to painlessly increase club giving. All right, do a polio event. Lisa Waterman a year ago was big on this. It's still a problem. We're still working on it. If that's a passion in your community, but remember, anybody under, what, 40 doesn't know what polio is. Okay? So they may have a different thing they want to work for. Conduct a significant local or international project. Well, if you don't have one, a lot of clubs do. Okay? A lot of clubs already have an international project. My advice is like Fowler, Kentland, Monticello, I think Valpo. We've all pooled at time to time on a heart-to-heart grant to Mexico. Sure, okay? And that's a way to get your club's name and get exposed to an international project. Fort Wayne is in the hospital in India. Okay, so there are big clubs do them on their own, yes.
So I'm fairly new to Rotary. How do you find an international club?
Go online and look in Rotary. You go under Rotary grants, and there's every grant listed in the world. Okay?
Or contact a club that's already working with somebody.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't realize the grants were really, you can just see.
Yeah, you can look at them, and it'll say My Grants, which is the ones that you're involved in. There's a whole breakdown on that chart. Okay? So, yeah, good question. All right, here goes a good one. Here's post successful club projects with details about activities, volunteer hours, and fundraise on Rotary.org. Where do you put those? Well, you put them in your goals, which you're going to work on, and you put them in what? No, Rotary Internet. Well, you could, but Rotary International, Rotary Showcase. Huh? Something new, huh?
Yeah.
They allow clubs to submit photos and projects that you've successfully completed that you're kind of proud of. A year ago on the presidential citation, last year was the one I helped clubs with, and that was to plant trees. Well, it was a little tricky, because it wasn't just going out and planting trees. That's not hard. Shovels, water, go get some trees, go plant them, okay? The problem was, is when you got done to get the Rotary citation, you had to put it into Rotary Showcase. So that was a lot of my phone calls. How do I get to Rotary Showcase? How do we did this tree project, John, why is it not showing up? Did you put it in Rotary Showcase like the fine print said? No. Well, that's what you got to do. So Rotary Showcase is something you want to go home and look up. Partnerships with, post-successful club projects, yes, you're going to do that. We're going to continue to establish partnerships with government. Use Rotary's brand guidelines, you've heard that. Got to make sure the wheel looks right, it's new. There's new stuff on Brand Center every day or every week or pretty often. All right, arrange for the club members to talk with media to tell your club story. That varies. In Fort Wayne, can you do that very easy, Molly?
Yeah.
Okay. Valpo. You have a TV station? Nope. Okay, well let me tell you. In the corn and soybean fields of Newton County, I'm not sure we have a radio broadcast tower in the county, let alone TV. Our TV all comes from Chicago, because the FCC said you need to be on Central Time and you need to listen to the murders. And I have no idea what goes on in Indiana. And of course we don't have a TV station. So, but it is, we use the paper. We have an article in the paper every week. Huh? Because we write it, we take the pictures, and we send it to them. And you'd be surprised how many of your papers will take that if their reporters don't have to do the work. All right? It's America, you know. And that took a long time. And remember another thing, as a president, you're not in charge of every committee. You don't need to go to every committee meeting. Pick a good leader, give them direction and guidelines, and get out of the way. Please. Ask what they're doing, find out what they're doing, keep up, support them. Don't interfere. Ask new members to propose a project. Some clubs give $500. Take the last 5 new members, we'll give you $500. Go pick a project you want to do in the community. Not something in our brochure or something new. Here's $500. Go do it. All right, quickly. I can only say that successful clubs do goal setting, so it depends on where you want to be. Look down here at what goals. You get to do foundation, giving, service, young leaders, public image, and then the presidential citation all fits together, all right? So those are areas that you get to put stuff in. This is kind of a review. The one thing, Chris, if I point up there, how do I get that little link to work? Or can you do that for me? When you sit down and have the meeting to brainstorm, there's the old paper, post-it notes, whatever you do. There's some new technology that's kind of cool. Let's see if it actually comes up. Okay, they're going to ask me to log in. You can probably see it up there on the right. It's not very clear. Yeah, log in. Just go ahead and sign in. Sign in with Microsoft. Try that one. No, that's the wrong one. So it's your computer. This is a brainstorming tool. Draws those little bubbles and connects lines and puts colors on them. And it's kind of cool because you can put it on the screen. And if you're not tech savvy, have somebody there that is. It's not hard to do. You don't have to type it all right. I don't know. What? No, I think it's more, it's a website. You don't download anything, you just go to it. Coggle, C-O-G-G-L-E. you've got to have the right group of people that want to use it. And what did you say about some mature members that didn't want to change? That's probably not the group you choose for that. Okay? Yeah. You just created one, didn't you?
Yeah.
All right, Chris is going to make one real quick. He could just make a box. And I mean, it's a tool that NASA gave to us, but it's no longer rocket science, okay?
Bless you.
So you click on that middle box. Chris put a comment in there. Sit down, John. No. Okay? Then if you click over, it'll connect it. You can change colors and everything. There you go. Look at that. This is pretty difficult, isn't it? They even got the directions on the side. I have some, the social media committee is on here, the training plan committee that I was chair of is on here. We did them online, so I can show them to them on the webinars and they can look at them on the screen. Hey, look, you've got a curve in there. All right, Chris, let's go on. They require you to enter goals, foundation, all those we talked about. Why do they do that? Do you need one more thing to do? Well, the reason we do it, or they do it, is because for the years, and I heard this here, I heard this, that you can't, you know, the number of dollars we give is a lot, but it's not in the real world, it's not, but it is in what? Hours. So you want to put the service hours in.
What was the dollar amount you gave us the other day?
27 per hour. All right, well, my time is overextended. You can click out of this bad boy and we'll go on. Questions? If you want help actually physically entering goals, then you just need to call me and we'll get you logged in on your screen, on your computer. And remember, you can only go, I want to make sure before you have everybody look, can you get to 2019-20 goals? If you log into Rotary.org.
Where do we find it?
Huh?
Where do we look for it?
Rotary.org, and then it's under Rotary Club Central. All right, thank you.
John has a lot of knowledge here, as you know, so please feel free to contact him between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. Let's take a quick break here if we could, maybe like 5 or 10 minutes.
To know any more about it.
Okay, folks, let's get started again. Thank you for taking a short break from that.
You need
Okay,
a
so
bell,
next-
Jack. You need a bell.
I do. Okay, so next let's have Mr. Al Brothers come and talk to us, next year's boss man.
Well, thank you. Hopefully everybody's having a good time and also learning quite a bit. This is the survey course, like you took in college. You know, the first course that you ever take when you go to school. It surveys all the courses through the 4 years you're going to take. And it gives you an overview of really what to expect. And again, that's what this is all about. But I want to show you again what we were presented at in San Diego. The key things here for us was Rotary. And again, if you look, the tools that we use are geared toward growing Rotary itself. New and innovative clubs, innovation with flexibility, create new membership models, open new paths to Rotary membership, build new Rotary and Interact clubs. Again, we've talked about all of these things. And again, I'll just highlight this quickly. One of the key ways you can do it is really building a new club. It can be a standing club. Again, you may have 2 clubs in your locale, but you may want to build a third one if you don't want to expand your own club. An e-club. There are none in our district, but there are some e-clubs throughout the United States. And I know of a couple of e-clubs that are worldwide. So again, the only place you meet is on the internet. But again, it gives you a chance, again, to communicate using webinars and everything else. We'll talk a little bit more about Rotaract, but this was the one that came up with interesting. A single company club. A hospital can have a club of its own. In this case, a manufacturing company could have a club of its own. So it need not necessarily include other people. It can be a single one. And we did talk about satellite clubs. And we talked about Rotaract, and again, I really applaud that, and I think we had covered that before. But again, you're talking about people between the ages of 10 and 30. It requires a Rotary Club sponsor and organizer. It requires Rotary Club mentors. It does include Interact graduates, local college students, and young professionals. And remember, it can be college or community-based. We have 3 in our district. I think one in Valparaiso, one in Ball State, and then the community-based is Fort Wayne. How do you start it? Again, you find members, elect officers, charter your club with RI. You receive a charter in 6 weeks. And again, for those young folks, they celebrate when the charter arrives and present new members with an identification with special recognition of their commitment. But the biggie is ensure that they connect with Rotary online. When you saw the citation, there is one for Rotaract. So again, Rotaract is an important part of our Rotary family. And I do want to point out that at our International Assembly, that was the first time we ever had Rotaract. We had 60 of them. And the Rotaract, I use the term chair, it is from, let's see, she's from Japan. But this is a Rotaract Club of Fort Wayne. So it gives you an insight in terms of the age, you know, and again, the energy, use the word energy, of these young folks. One of the other key elements that we tend to forget is that you can change your meeting formats. You can change the schedule. Talk about the days, times, and frequency. The only requirement out of Rotary is that you meet at least twice a month. And it can be a business meeting and something else, but the goal is at least meet twice a month. And you can vary your meeting format. First, we're talking about you can do it in person, online, or a combination. But how about streaming a meeting? If I'm in my office, as I have been for many, many years, and I can't see Rotary Club, I might be able to view it online. And then, again, we've talked about relaxing attendance requirements. And then the last one is interesting. We'll talk a little more about this. Offer multiple membership types. Under meeting formats, we want to talk about flexibility and growth. Again, flexibility of a club, but how do you make it grow? How about inviting Rotaractors? Well, again, we have 3 Rotary clubs in Fort Wayne. We can invite the Rotaractors to our meetings or to our functions. And the goal is support and encourage them. But one of the key things you have to remember, and John pointed out, is that any changes you make in your formats should be reflected in your bylaws. This is the exciting part. In my club, Anthony Wayne is also working on it as well. Talking about family membership. My wife wants to join, but we don't want independent, we want a family membership. Corporate membership, we have a major corporate member, but any member that's listed as part of that corporation can come in place of the primary member. Associate membership. We're talking about, and what an associate membership is, it's a preliminary membership before you actually become a full Rotary member. It gives a person a chance to take a look at the club itself, be involved, but yet not have all the requirements associated with full membership. And again, active versus honorary. Or again, the honorary membership, again, this it's almost like the age of 65 or 95 or those kind of things. There's a minimum time that you have to be enrolled before you become an honorary member. And honorary member doesn't have to pay any dues. So again, those things. And you can have folks who are both Rotaract members and Rotary members, because you can join it. What age can you join Rotary?
10.
Not quite, no, not quite. What's the minimum age?
18.
18, no. So again, actually it's closer to 21 if you think about it as far as that goes for an actual Rotary member. But again, you could be 21 and be a Rotaract and also a Rotary member. I did mention that adapt the bylaws that suit your club. So as on an annual basis, take a look at what you're doing or what you want to do, and find, again, how you can modify your bylaws to reflect either what you are doing or want to do. Now let's take a look at some of the resources. We'll talk a little bit about it. And again, the RI primary resource is Rotary.org. Really take a look at it, look around it. You know, in that sense, there's quite a bit involved in Rotary.org. And it surprises you when we actually look around. You're asking about, you know, projects. There's a place where there are projects that are, I won't use the term pending, but are proposed. And they talk about what the costs are, and the whole gamut. And unfortunately, in some cases, they've got to find out how to translate it, because sometimes it's in Spanish or in the language. Well, I'll have to work out with Rotary. But again, there are folks out there, you know, looking for partners within that, international partners to happily support them. Now, what about our local resources? Again, we talked about Club Room, the district, the members log on, the district website. And again, you can also phone or email contact with RI itself. If you have particular questions you think we can answer, or call us first, and then we can point you to the folks at RI. Now, the district conference, and again, our dance district conference this year is the 9th and 10th at Notre Dame. It's a fantastic affair. And we're going for another planning meeting on Tuesday. We have to hold one.
10th and 11th.
10th and 11th, okay. I'm on a day off, I'm lost. I have to show up for the 9th. Okay, you have to hold one so they can learn about what's happening in Rotary in the district. And again, it's a chance to fellowship people of the Rotarians. But again, it does include a visit from the president's rep, who again actually provides updates on what's happening not only nationally, but internationally. Then we have a report on the district, including its successes and its challenges. And then one of the key things, in a conference is you have to hold a business meeting and vote on matters. And one of the votes we take is on the new DGM each and every year. So again, we extend that succession line. And then you have a selection of local or international speakers on particular topics. We'll talk about that in a few minutes also. And in many cases, it's a celebration for events, activities, and goals that are achieved by the club itself. We'll talk about that too in just a second. In my year, we're looking to do something in Fort Wayne. We're going to see why. Talking about Rotary Connects the World. Together we connect, together we grow. It's a Grand Wayne Center in downtown Fort Wayne. Why did I pick downtown Fort Wayne? Because most of these are within walking distance of the Grand Wayne Center. So if you bring your family, like in that sense, you can do quite a bit. I didn't put the tin caps on. The tin caps are right across the way too. So again, a whole host of things that are available. It will include the actual business meeting, speakers, breakout sessions, a keynote speaker, but it may not be a Rotary keynote speaker, because that's not the requirement. The requirement is have a speaker that can talk to our members in terms of the issues that they're looking at or the challenges that they face. Again, networking, and the key thing is fun. And again, as you take a look, Science Central opened up in 1995. I was chairman of the board at that time. It was built on a model that I had in Boston, the Museum of Science in Boston. So, and again, it's a way of, my wife says that I'm her #1 child, and that's probably true in that sense too, but I enjoy having fun. And again, it's a way of doing that. And again, an example of our zoo. One of the big things we have in Fort Wayne is a genealogy center. If you all want to do research on your families or anything else, they've got fantastic resources and fantastic researchers. It's the second largest one in the country. The first one, as we mentioned before, was in Utah, in that sense. But it is a worldwide resource, where the Library of Congress focuses primarily on the United States. So again, I can do my Canadian research. One of the other key features of the downtown library is a very, very large children's center. And again, the kids can crawl all over the place. I have nice things here. Botanical Gardens, our history center, talking about Allen County and the surrounding region, and our art museum. So this is just an example of things that are actually within walking distance. And that was the goal here in terms of providing something on the line. John had mentioned, others have mentioned, the use of webinars. And again, how many have ever used a webinar? Okay. I've taken a whole lot of online courses and everything else using webinars as well. But again, it's a neat tool, because you can be in your pajamas, and if you're wise enough, you turn the camera off. Really, you think of a webinar, it's both a communication and an education device. You can engage more people, more Rotarians. And again, one of the key things we have within our particular district, it takes 3 hours to go from one side to the other. So again, we're trying to reduce the travel. And it is an interactive forum, because everybody gets a chance to pitch in and talk. We will record and store it on Club Runner, again, on our site, and it really allows us more access in terms of communication. And another one is conference calls. I used to work in conference calls. At Raytheon, again, because we are multinational, again, one of the key things, we had meetings at noontime, and that was because we were involved talking to folks in London or France. So again, but it was not a webinar, it ended being a conference call. We could do a webinar. What about speaker resources? I know many have asked the question, what kind of speaker resources do we have? Yes, you've got Dan, you've got myself, you've got Steve Van Scoy, again, who's our grants person. So again, you have folks like ourselves, but more importantly, you have local, regional, and special folks. Use your community resources. You're talking about all these folks, at least all the way through your public figures, nonprofits, library. The library may have an interesting program to offer up. Your mayor, city council. One of the key things if you happen to be in a college community is that there may be some key topics that some of your more prominent professors have who might come on and give a presentation on. How about television personalities, sports figures? And again, we tend to think government in terms of the key legislative folks, which are key. And what about the highway department, the health and service department? Again, talk to your legislature, because one of the key things you may want to inform your club about, what is the pending legislation and its impact? What about local museums? I mentioned those there too. I didn't add another museum in it because it's not within walking distance. How many have ever heard of the Capellas Manuscript Museum? There are 10 in the country. 2 are in Fort Wayne. One in Buffalo, they're actually scattered. They're geared by a gentleman who is a multi-millionaire out in California. He buys buildings, and the one in Fort Wayne is an old Christian Science building. But what he's bought, and his friends have bought, are old manuscripts, constitutions, the papers of John Adams. And again, they're there. One of the key things most of them are in, cursive. It's a hidden secret for young people. But again, they had a one on Alexander Graham Bell. Obviously, you had typewriter and stuff like that. But it gives you the insights about actual documentation relative to key topics from years ago. You want to see what treaties look like in the 1800s? Sometimes they're there. Other things, again, what about our RA director, Floyd Lansing? Tremendous experience in many facets of Rotary itself. He's traveled internationally extensively. So again, a great resource. District Foundation share, your district membership share. Remember, RA headquarters is in Evanston, Illinois. It's what, from Fort Wayne, it's roughly about 3.5, 4 hours away. I want to take a tour. They love for Rotary folks to come take a tour. And again, it gives you some more insights in terms of what's going on in Rotary itself. Another one you're talking about is the RA website. And on the website, it does talk about resources. And also ask about our own district resources. There may be other resources within our district that you might want to ask and talk to. Now, you have the handout there, Library Club. And again, you can sign into my Rotary Defined Resources. Like we have the health check, the chief planning guide, Rotary Club Central, the membership satisfaction guide. This is one way of finding out from members of your club what they like. Also sometimes what they don't like. And then sometimes that's more important in that situation. There's an online learning center. We talked about the Grant Center. And this was interesting because it can be done by general topic or it can be done by job. As a club president, as the club membership share. There are again specific videos on the whole line and resources relative to that. There's an area on introducing new members to Rotary. Also, Leadership in Action, your guide to starting a new program as a club. Now, my emphasis is this. Again, you heard my story about, in this case, the flu. In 1968, it was terrifying. My wife having had polio as a kid. So again, one of mine is disease prevention. But I couldn't make heart to heart this year. Again, I had another commitment. And another was water and sanitation. I do support very strongly the foundation because it is the underpinning, provides the resources for some of the projects that we'd like to do both locally, nationally, and internationally. And I do support Polio Plus initiative completely. As I mentioned before, growing up as a kid I was the last generation, the last millennium, in that time frame. Again, I do remember where swimming pools and everything else were closed because of the fear of polio, before the Salk vaccines came out. Tremendous fear in that particular time frame. But I need your support here now. I want to find out what your particular areas of focus are. Remember the 6 areas of focus: promoting peace, disease prevention and treatment, water and sanitation, maternal and child health, basic education and literacy, economic and community development. What's your area of focus? I'll pass one to each table. Take a look at it. Discuss among yourselves for a few minutes what you'd like your area of focus to be, what you'd like to recommend. And maybe you have some projects in mind.
One was interested.
Okay, so I get everybody there. Okay. Everybody goes down.
Well, I guess we need to discuss this.
Oh.
So does this table see as
Rotary areas of levels 5, promoting peace. Water and sanitation, child health, basic education. They want to know what your area of focus
You're down to
is.
what, 6 cases of polio. When we get down to 0 for a period of years, we need to think ahead of what next.
Remember, it can be more than one.
What else needs the attention?
I like the idea of entrepreneurship, you know, like the sewing machines, because the sewing machines will give them money for education. The sewing machines will give them money so that they can have clean water and better sanitation. Where if you don't have anything to back it up, then you still have a poor community who can't afford to take care of the things that they have. What was it? I was up here once and talked about a man who all he wanted was a water bottle. Because he had one. With 2, he could plant more acres of rice. And with more acreage of rice, he had more income, not only to help his family, but help extended family members. He could send his family to schools. Because, you know, we're the only place where it's supposed to be free education.
We did a group project where we sponsored purchasing goats, and that taught the village to the husbandry of taking care of the animals and then helping become part of it. Encourage that responsibility and how to continue to provide for it so that they multiply or provide food. Amy, she's a professor in
Give you 5 more minutes and then
that was another way that what you're saying is it continues to.
What's the old adage? Give a man a fish and he can eat for a day. Teach him to fish. He's got a life skill.
Yes.
Give them life skills.
And that's exactly what this was. And I don't even, so I thought it was kind of funny because it was referred to as the GOAT project.
And we're having problems.
I was glad to have the same sanitation is to apply it this way because it ended up being a self-sustaining project. I mean, that it was going further than just buying a few goats for the village to feed them.
Exactly.
We've been involved for a long time with a community of Costa Rica to keep their library going. So it turns out that the library is the community center. It's where people have access to the internet.
Yes.
So it's
it's like a transformative place for them. It's not just about a book.
We've done a lot of water projects in Honduras. There's places that water supply is up here, and the villages here, and other places where it's the other way. So you don't need pipelines and things like that. So we've partnered with Delphi Club on doing some of those.
Yeah, I mean, we have.
I was in Honduras last week, and we've got a project there to add a computer lab to a small school, two-room school.
But it's really
So we're going to be sending people from 3 clubs.
in some ways that
It's pretty hard sometimes with these international things to get somebody on the ground, a contact over there, and try to do something, and you got to trust somebody with the money. So, fortunately, Ken Levy from Delphi owns property there. He has a lot of contacts. So, this one project with the school, there's an American who owns a dive shop on the island of Roatan.
How that
School. So this is somebody he knows very well, so we can through them. It's too scary giving up the money, And once we get it done, we walk away. You can't, because with Rotary, you can't continue to own a building or that kind of stuff. We usually set up water boards and that kind of thing. In this case, it's going to be the school that will take this forward.
We've used resources from missions because you can usually trust the mission. And they know the needs of the people better than what we do.
For an international project, you need to have another Rotary Club.
Yeah.
For the
what I'm
big
saying
thing.
is that you can work through the Rotary Club, but
Please document it too.
Also use the mission or the church.
well, we've done that through aid and several.
Right.
Okay.
31.
Doing the shelter boxes. Use a Rotary Club. They
We need somebody to give them a name of another club that you're talking about the global grant. You don't need it for a district grant. You get a district grant.
That's where the break.
You still need somebody there that you can trust.
for us, it's highway safety.
The other question I have for us to think about, that's international stuff. Do you think that everybody is always excited about international things, or do you also need to look at what can you do in your own community? And what would that be?
Yes, that's actually, I believe that's passionate art, but I feel that
On Highway 6. Oh my gosh, I didn't know it went that far.
We've adopted the Parks Department in our town. Jack has been a big fun.
How big's your Rotary Club?
So we just have to go from project to project.
That was just before I came in. They started empty lots.
That's what we've done so much. They named one part of one park Rotary Cove. The Kiwanis do a lot in that. They build whole parks. Rotary doesn't do that. It's got a lot of
Well, they did put a, they got an arch where you drive down Rotary Cove.
And the mountain, park benches, shelters.
You've had some good conversations.
The last project was a town square. I think the next thing we're going to do is help Little League with their dugout.
Our focus mainly is on the water and sanitation. Most of us have either coupled with other Rotary clubs to send money or supplies to different countries for that. When we talked about the club's area of focus, obviously all of us in the room want to help other people, especially those less fortunate than we are. The water and sanitation seems to be one more that we do internationally, but at home, most of us are involved in the basic education literacy in the schools, and I think that's pretty much what we're looking at continuing to do.
Fantastic, thank you. Well, okay. about this table, what about yourselves here?
Well, my club, we're into the WASH program also.
Okay, yep.
So, I remember Narayan Taraka, he made all the contacts down there in San Mango. Okay. So we're involved with that, and then the literacy thing, we have a little program that we call Rotary Read.
Yep.
And same as Jessica's club.
Is there anybody else that has Apple Dumpling book?
Yes, we do.
Oh, yeah, it was another Rotary Club that wrote the book, so we go to Rotary classes for read the Apple.
What is it?
Yeah.
We can't hear that.
It's Apple Dumpling.
It's a community service thing, it's a group that's setting up a house for women that are getting off the opioid addiction. So we're helping them, and we're going to set it up to them next week at local brands.
Okay, that sounds good, okay. Okay, what about this table over here?
So we talked about continuing general community development projects.
Have all these other things you can have.
Whatever that may be, helping local parks and things, but something our club is doing, we're trying to keep outside the box. And there's a local clinic is what it's called, it's a pro-life facility in Adams County, and they support pregnant women, ultrasound, things like that. So we reached out to them and just asked, is there any need that you have? So the financial side is we're buying a couple iPads and some software to educate the mothers on prenatal care, which is new parenting.
Sure.
Information, and then we're going to go and have a work day later, so update their building, do the painting and things like that. So different area of focus and what we're doing.
Okay, our table back here, and I'm gonna come down this side.
We talked about the literacy project.
Okay.
In our club, we sponsor 300 students with the Valley Park Imagination Library program.
Okay.
Hey, speak up, we can't hear over here.
Well, the other table should be quiet because it reverberates in this room and several tables have talked about it. So.
Okay. Literacy project was what our group focuses on, our club. We sponsor 300 plus students in the Dolly Parton Imagination Library program. So we give them books from birth to age 5. And so that's our focus in our club. And that's where we've shifted a lot of our dollars into that program.
You all in similar ways then? Okay. Fantastic, okay. Okay, this table.
Well, we spend a lot of our money and projects on our city parks.
Okay.
Through district grants.
Economic development, okay.
And even got to the point where they've named one of the parks Rotary Cove and that kind of thing. So we're very visible from that standpoint. And then we're very active internationally. We've done a number of water projects. Those kind of things are kind of sexy, and I think they help to attract possibly new members who see themselves doing great things. And there's nothing like changing a situation for a village where they used to have to walk a mile every day, mostly the women, carrying water, to now a pipeline down to that place. So there's tremendous satisfaction out of those.
Super, okay. Okay, gang here. What was your primary focus here?
Yeah, for us it is economic and community development.
Okay.
We have developed a dog park within the Mansour Centennial Park. We have the dictionary project for the students. So we have water project in Nicaragua. So there
Don't
is
forget your tree planting project.
Oh, yeah.
That was me.
Yeah. So I'm a little confused. I thought the question was more for international purposes.
Remember, it covers the entire spectrum.
Because, I mean, we do the Dolly Parton thing also. There's like 360, 370 kids in the county.
Okay.
That's in that program. What I don't understand is, give me an example of promoting peace.
Again, Peace Scholars Program. In that sense, sponsoring a Peace Scholar is one in that sense too. Or sponsoring a program jointly to help a school, for example, like you talk about Afghanistan. Again, we are trying to promote peace, get things together, by setting up an environment where peace might thrive.
Does that include any of the exchange
Yeah, it would, again, part of that would, yes, if you think about it. Because one of the key things, one of the reasons for an exchange program is for them to come here and understand us, and vice versa. Because there are many changes.
There is some of our members that have done the exchange programs.
Okay. Okay. Well, fantastic. Hope you had a chance to really get an idea of what each one of you may want to do, and perhaps consider partnering in some way, shape, or form along that line. Because since district dollars and global grants are coming up here, again, the goal is to see what is it you want to do. I appreciate your interest and support here. Okay, points. I did point out, I'll leave a schedule there, a proposed business schedule. Please, to each one take a look at it and see if the dates are good. And again, if dates are good, sign it and leave it there, and I'll get it. Or send me an email or text. Update and verify your information, Club Runner and Rotary.org. One of the key things is communication. Please let me know that, when I send you something.
We got my table.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed. Okay, go.
Had a robust conversation with all the rest of the people here. I'm kidding. What I really wanted to say is, when I got here and we had to write those 3 goals in that book, and I was like, oh man, I can't come up with 3 goals. And after listening to all you guys, I've got about 10.
Anything?
You start a little.
Dennis.
Out of here.
And again, please feel free to call me. I left my card there for assistance and questions. And you guys you folks are my heroes. And I want to, can you help me pass out some hero cards? Again, these are from a gentleman who we met in Indianapolis, Eddie Durrell, and again, you have your own.
That's what I gave
You guys are heroes to us.
Yeah.
You can fight over there too.
Well, he's from Australia. He was down there young guy. He was interacting with the team.
I think this is another one of those fun things like Crazy Colors.
Well, I want to say all thank you very much. Okay. I'm going to have to moderate the next session of their lunchtime. So again, I've enjoyed it. And I look forward
hero. Okay, so the next person up here on our list is a man I've looked up to for a lot of years. And it's not just because of his height that I looked up to him, it's because of his passion. And I think it's really important for you to understand and get a clear vision of your own passion. And you might do that by looking at this man and seeing what works for him. Would you please welcome Mr. Dan Ryan?
I think I got big enough mouth for you to hear me. At least that's what my wife tells me.
Can I answer that?
No. Couple of quick things, having been part of forming those new clubs. Your district dues and international dues, if you collect $10 a month, you'll satisfy being able to pay district and RI dues. So that's usually where we start the new clubs, and they can add on what they want, initiation fees, that type of thing. But just keep that in mind as far as actual cost. And if you have an interest in corporate memberships, I've been quite active with that at the Rotary International level and within the district. And I have 3 options I can send you that we've developed that you could use as consideration within your club. So if you have such an interest, just let me know. For those of you who knew that I left yesterday and then came back, my brother-in-law suffered a stroke, but he is doing miraculously well. So I thank those of you who are aware for your prayers and ask you continue to do that. And before I start, just in this position, I've always viewed whatever positions we're in, excuse me, as a servant position. I just happen to be serving as a district governor. Doesn't make me any more important, probably less important, I think, than the club leadership. It should flow down, or I should be serving districts and district governors and clubs. Are primary, and the most primary is the individual member, and I've always subscribed to that. So I just appreciate it's been an honor and privilege to serve in this position and get to go to every club. I can tell you of the 57 clubs in our district, I'm proud of each and every one and the difference they're making in their community. So you have a tall order there to continue that legacy within your club. But kind of wanted to ask why you were here. How did you? We're going to do this quick. I want 5 reasons of why you're here, and I want it to be a sentence or less. Okay? Now you're PE, so I know you're not bashful, or you wouldn't be here. Okay. Let's start. Give me one. Why did you become a PE? Why are you going to be the president in your club? How'd that happen?
Truthfully, because no one else wanted to do it.
Bingo. That's one.
There you go. Make some positive changes.
Make a difference. Make positive changes. Andy?
Because I was asked.
Good one. John?
Make it grow so we can do more.
Okay. One more.
Give back to my local community.
Okay. Now you might say, why does he ask all those things? What's it matter? Well, in reality, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter why you became a president, you're the president. You said yes. Whether coerced, no one else would stand up. Everybody in the club's too old, and you were the new young person. 80% of, at one time, 80% of all new club presidents were in Rotary 3 years or less. Kind of told you, well, they didn't know any better, right? So, but you said yes. And to me, I served as president twice. You accepted a responsibility. If no one else will do the job, it's going to fall on you to represent your club at district events, international participation, all of that. Which is why you need a consensus and team building within your club, but you're not the only person out there doing it. I figured out on the way up here that I have attended now 18 PACs. I also got to thinking the response to that would probably be the man needs to get a life. But I will tell you what I've experienced having been around the district since 2002, 2003. The saddest 2 words that I've always heard after you served as a president, if only. Saddest 2 words, if only. If only we had more members. If only we had more funds. If only we had more projects. If only we had more younger members. If only we had more active members. If I could have had more time as the president, which always speaks to me that you didn't get other people to help you do that job. Or if only I could inspire like the president last year or 2 years ago. Well, none of that matters. You got to do with what you have, what your unique talents are, and play to that. And so when I interviewed for a district governor job, they said, what's your deficiency? No comment, John Frishy. But I said, the most glaring one is technology. And they said, how will you address that? I said, I'll surround myself with people who are excellent at it. 1, 2, my district trainer was John Frishy. Exactly. So you need to lead by example. And Lee Crow always talks about the first follower. You don't want to, if you have an idea, you want to find that first follower. That person that everyone else thinks you're crazy for your idea, but you find that first follower that says, I'll help you with that, and all of a sudden it takes on a whole new dynamic. No, Dan's not, maybe he's not so crazy, or maybe both of them are crazy. But it's easier to get other followers once you find that first one. So I encourage you to find that first follower or followers, and preferably your board. Your board can help sell whatever new innovation you have in your club to the rest of the club. They're the ones sitting at the different tables as you're having your meetings. They can say, where did that come from? Well, we all talked about it. We really think this would be the better. Yeah, I know it's not the same as what it used to be. But you need to be the catalyst. You need to start the fire. And if any, I've been at Pets twice when I was going to be president. The first time I was overwhelmed. You used to get a book that thick, which became some kind of paperweight in your closet. But I was overwhelmed because I didn't know what I didn't know. I thought our club was doing all these things, but I know there were so many things that we weren't doing. So all that Pets accomplishes for you is to light the fire and say, hey, if I'm just starting now, I'm behind. But I got time to catch up before July 1. And if I've got a good start, maybe there's some other things now that I can get going before my year starts. You're much better off if you have the people in your positions and where you want to go before July 1, so that you're not playing catch up for the rest of the year. Get a sense of urgency. I think the biggest mistake I've seen in clubs is that they don't use the resources around them. They don't attend a membership seminar or foundation seminar. I'll hear them say, when I did the board meeting, but we don't know anything about this Numbing a Man. We just did an hour on that in a webinar. You were invited 3 or 4 times. Nobody from your club participated. You could have those. Now, we're having a membership problem. Wow, we had a great membership. We had 2 presenters that presented at the International Convention at our membership seminar, and we were tickled. We had 40-some clubs represented. But in my mind, we had 16 that weren't. Maybe 16 were the ones that had the most need for that membership seminar. So take advantage. We're anxious to come to your club. That's why Judy Walker's a foundation chair. Carla Hurd's going to be your membership chair. They want to come to your club. They want to help you. You just sign on to have some kind of title or to get a badge, so use them up. Make the changes that are needed, and that takes courage sometimes. Maybe it's that you're just going to change the meeting date. Sounds like no big deal. It can be. Maybe it's going to be the meeting place, because meals do matter. I've had some lousy meals as district governor. I'll always remember one club, and one of my favorite clubs took a meal. They apologized. They said, that was really lousy. When I said, well, frozen pizza isn't bad, but when all that's left when you get up there is the corner with nothing on it, maybe that would speak to why your members, you're saying, we're having trouble getting people to come to lunch. I'd bring a sandwich next time if I was coming back. So, but address those things. No, don't be afraid to shake it up. Perhaps it's, I talked to somebody from a different district. He said last night at the bar, amazing that an Irishman would be at the bar. But he said, we decided we only do 2 programs, we only have 2 meetings a month. He said we do a project 1 meeting a month, and we do a social event 1 meeting a month. I think, are you doing that over Auburn? Been widely successful. The attendance at the 2 meetings is done very well, but they look forward to that social event. Attracts other people. So I encourage you to do that. You know, Brent Rosenthal, which some of us know from having worked at the zone level, was really big into membership. And he tells a story that happened in his club. His club did a fundraiser, and it was a rose sale. He said everybody in the club hated the rose sale. Everybody. So at the installation of the new president, he says, a young man, he stands up and says, probably going to upset some people, but I've decided we're going to do a different fundraiser, and we're getting ready for the rose sale. He said he got a standing ovation. But it had always been, well, we always do the rose sale, so I guess we have to do the rose sale. Being creative. Try something new. You might be surprised at the support that you get within your club. This year we started for the first time a diversity committee. I'm very strong on that. You're going to see that at the district conference. That can be African Americans, that can be Hispanic, but see what that represents in your community. Maybe it's younger members, but maybe it's also people who've recently retired. We picked up new members in my club, teachers retired. They said, we can now come at noon. They've been coming to our club for years. Try it. If your club, I was in one club and I saw one woman. She calls herself the Lone Ranger. I said at the board, does anybody in the room see anything wrong with everybody at the board? And they said, we recognize the problem. We're working towards it. I want to work a little harder. And what I would say to you is when you bring in that type of diversity into your club, then get them engaged. Get them on your board. Get them into the officer positions to where you have a different perspective and a different point of view. Then I would encourage you to find your Rotary moment. Without you telling me, How many of you feel you have a Rotary moment? Something that defines why you're in Rotary. Do you have that yet? I'll tell you mine briefly. I told this story when I came to your club of a member of my club whose daughter died at 7 years of age. Laid down, took a nap, and never woke up. At her funeral, they had all the funds collected for the gift of life, which enabled, without those funds, the Riley surgical team going out of the country would have never been able to do. They didn't have the money to do the 16 surgeries to save 16 children's lives. And the story of my asking the head nurse to tell a mother and father of a 7-year-old girl that had been saved of the loss back in Indiana, and the shawl and the letter that was sent back that the mother here read to my club. Most emotional Rotary meeting I've ever been a part of. When I think of it, it still overwhelms me. But it pointed out to me how small the world is, what a difference we can make about Indiana, seriously. The difference that we could make, one small club. That's my Rotary moment. I would challenge each of you to find your Rotary moment. It's there. Whatever your passion is, you're going to get a good chance to find it as club president. Whatever your passion is, reach out into Rotary and you will find it, whether that's the foundation, whether that's growing clubs and membership, whether that's youth exchange, whatever that would be, I guarantee you, it's out there. I'd like to conclude. You've probably heard this before, but it seemed appropriate for today. It's called Your Dash. I read of a man who stood to speak at the funeral of a friend. He referred to the dates on her tombstone from beginning to the end. He noted that first came her date of birth and spoke the following date with tears, but he said what mattered most of all was the dash between those years. For that dash represents all the time she has spent alive on earth, and now only those who loved her know what that little line is worth. For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. What matters is how we live and love and how we spend our dash. So think about this long and hard. Are there things you would like to change? Well, you never know how much time is left. It can still be rearranged. If we could only just slow down enough to consider what's true and real and always try to understand the way other people feel. And be less quick to anger and show appreciation more and love the people in our lives like we've never loved before. If we treat each other with respect and more often wear a smile, remembering that this little special dash might only last a little while. So when your eulogy is being read with your life's actions to rehash, would you be proud of the things they say about how you spent your dash? And I added this. Will you be proud of your Rotary leadership, the difference that you made, those you inspired and connected, the lives you have improved or saved? Be that president your club always remembers and remembers your year. Be the inspiration, connect the world, go get them. Thank you.
Now we're going to switch things up again. You guys don't know that, but Chris is going to find out. We're going to put Chris off for another couple minutes yet, and then once we get to Chris, it's all his show, so we don't have to worry about any other speakers. Our Rotary Club in Delphi has a really good relationship with our assistant governor, and he shows up at our club more often than some of our members do. And so we just consider him to be a member of our club. When we have a money-making project, lo and behold, there he is. And he just does a really an excellent job. So I wanted him to say a few words to you today about that relationship between Rotary clubs and the assistant governor. Will you please welcome Mr. Lee Krug.
I was supposed to be last, and I knew when Brandon went 15 minutes instead of 5, I didn't think I'd get up here. So you made it. Well, I don't know how many of you are aware of the Assistant Governor Network that we have here. It's it's a whole organization, basically, within the organization. Could I have the assistant governors who are here stand up? We've got a few of them here. Okay. These are the people that work with the clubs. There are 17 of us that do it, and we make visitations to each club periodically to ascertain what's going on and help out where we can. Each of these people has 2 to 5 clubs that they travel around and see. We try to urge them to get to their clubs at least every quarter. Some of them do more than that, but they get out there and are available. They have a dual role, basically. One is to help the president, the governor, because he can't get around to see everybody except once a year. So we act as that communicators between the club and the governor, and kind of his eyes and ears, and keep them informed about what's going on in the clubs. What we are not is police. We cannot order a club to do anything. We can advise, we can cajole, we can remind, and that kind of thing, but we're there to help the club in their mission and help the governor in his mission and be that go-between. Let's see, so expect to see them at least once a quarter. Try to include them in the things that you do in the club. Some of the assistant governors will actually get involved with projects and things like that. And some of them become to feel almost like members of the club. And that's a good thing. And others are a little more distant than that, but they try to keep up with things. You should, when the assistant governor comes in, some of us, of course, are in our own clubs. We're assistant governors to them. So we're there all the time. But if the assistant governor is visiting your club, try to give them 2 or 3 minutes at least to make some announcements if they have to, or ask some questions and that kind of thing. That'll be helpful, I think, for everybody. I try to, when I visit a club, I try to call up ahead of time and say, is it going to be convenient for me to visit that day? And I try to find a day where the board perhaps is meeting just before the club meeting, so that I can talk to the board members and be part of that. You learn a lot more in a board meeting about the club than you do really being at a club meeting. So that's very helpful. The other thing I wanted to mention was about the governor's visits. In the past couple of years, I remember we always coupled the governor's visits with a board meeting, and the governor would meet just before the meeting with the board members, and then meet with the club members. Al Brothers tells me, Al's left, I guess, but he tells me that's going to be a little bit different this year. He's going to meet with the board, I guess, at a separate time or whatever, and going to rely very heavily on the AGs to put forth any information that needs to be put forth. So if you need help with setting your goals and that type of thing, we've got John and we've got Chris, and as far as the mechanics of it, talk to your AG about it. And nobody's going to be down on you for whether you make your goal or not, but getting that citation is a great thing. And just following that citation for your goals, I thought it's a two-edged thing, and there's a lot of nice recognition that comes from that. So let's see, I think that's about all I wanted to say. But I hope I put across that this is a two-way thing. We're trying to keep the governor informed and trying to keep you informed. Yes?
Don't forget, you're supposed to do assessments of clubs.
I was looking for that on my list, yeah. Mid-year, the assistant governors will be assessing, it's just a one-page assessment as far as some of your goals that have been attained, and kind of do a little rating of the club. At times, I think those have been discussed with the club, but it's an assessment that goes only to the governor, and then the governor can use that to try to affect, changes within with the club. But it's not something that anybody sees, and it's just a way of keeping track of things and keeping the governor informed.
Good idea if the assessment is shared with the president too, before it goes.
Yeah.
But believe me, I can cover it.
Yeah, we had some problems this year. Didn't we have some problems, Jenna, this year with one of the sharing?
They were opportunities, no problems.
Yeah.
It actually created a communication that there was a benefit at the end of it. Richard's an outstanding assistant governor.
So please welcome the assistant governors as much as you can and include them in your activities. I wish we could get more where the communications that are sent out to the members also went to the assistant governors. That would be a help.
Please. Diane was asking, is there a list of who the assistant governor is going to be that's going to be presented here today, or will that just be in the directory? Or
I think
for each club?
I would say Chris is maybe going to talk a little bit about it, but the website where it's at, he and I will work on some more. We've got the training dates we know for next year. We've got stuff on there about the list of assistant governors, which quite likely will change by July 1st, but it'll be close. That's kind of a fluid group. People move just like you lose members, but we're real close. Al and Jane and I probably have one change that will be on there.
Yeah, and usually, at least I as the assistant governor, I always pay for my lunch when I go there. I don't know, maybe some clubs might say, well, it's on us or something like that, but be prepared to pay for your own lunch if you go there. The governor gets a free lunch.
Sometimes.
Any other questions?
The reason I signed up late.
Any other questions about the assistant governor? Okay. Again, if you have a problem, discuss it with the assistant governor, and if it's a big problem also, then make sure you get to the governor with your with whatever problem it is. But we're there to help, and we're there to keep the governor informed and help carry out his policies, her policies, with Jane coming. Okay, any other questions? Thank you.
Everybody got a directory here?
I do.
You need to know who the AD is for testing.
I got it.
Quickly, Jack gave me an opportunity. He mentioned presidential citations. We're anxious to see your club achieve a presidential citation this Rotary year. It'd be good for you to be working on it, go back to your club. Hey, where are we at with that? Because I'd like to achieve one in my year, and you have a format and kind of have an idea. John's going to deal with that. I would like to say, though, that this year's group of assistant governors have been outstanding. And I asked Lee, literally at the last minute, to serve as AG coordinator, and he's done a fantastic job. They have taken a huge load off of me, so I'd like to thank you, Lee, and the assistant governors.
I didn't quite get my last sentence well. Presidential citations. 2 years ago, the district got 4 when Ron John was is that right? Okay, and last year with a great deal of individual coaching and work and help, and remember I said you got to put stuff in Rotary Showcase, we got 12. Okay? This year, Rotary has helped us by taking away the most valuable tool I had to know where you were at, and that was the dashboard for citation. I could look at every club, say you've got 3 out of 5, or you got 2 out of 4, and here's the ones you got to work on. Well, now I have to go look at every club, one at a time. That's not a step forward. They know my opinion, but I will help you find where you are at. Chris will address that too. So it is, like I said in my presentation, it's a great format to make some goals.
Can I quickly say something? You said they know where I'm at. Up at Rotary International, and I've been there a few times now, there's a big chalkboard or a signboard up there in the data area. And John's name is on it. Because he calls a lot. They want to know, when you hear from John Pritchie, that's when you say, Mr. Pritchie, we'll have to get back with you.
It's not always in a good way.
And not in a great way.
That's right. Okay, I'm going to pass around a piece of paper here. This is from Al Brothers, and it is a list of the dates for his visitation to each of your clubs.
We have those.
They're on the table already.
They're on the table.
We each have a copy.
Special, however. We'll pass this around, and if you will, please make sure that it ends up on Chris's table up here. If that date does not work well for you, and you want to suggest a different date, do it on this piece of paper, please. Just don't take the date that he's coming to Delphi, because I've already put it on there. Yes.
Jack, one thing about the governor's visit, when the governor visits, that is the program for that day. Okay? Nothing else should go on except announcements, and very often he will need projection equipment for his presentation, so you make sure you have that there, and make sure of course, your members are advised that the governor is going to be there that day.
Very good. And Lee, you don't have to buy your lunch from the Delphi.
Usually it's hard to find somebody to give the money to, but
The lunch and audit is $50.
The Delphi Rotary Club meets at the Delphi United Methodist Church, and we have the best meals in the district because the Methodist women fix our meals for us. Now, in the process of doing that here, this is the reason I brought this up. Our operating budget is a little different probably than most of your operating budgets because our club guarantees so many meals every week. And then our United Methodist women get that money, and then they use that money for some good project in the church. So it works out really well. And we guarantee more meals than we have people show up normally each week. If more people do show up than what we guarantee, we pay the extra amount to the women. But the point I'm making here is that changes our operating budget, and we have to have a certain number of people in our Rotary Club in order to break even on the operating budget. So it's kind of a different twist for you there. But if you ever get a chance on Tuesdays at noon to be in Delphi, please come to our club and enjoy a good meal. Okay, so for the rest of your fun time here, we have Chris, the know-all, be-all of computer things.
Okay, with what little time we have left, I just want to go over a couple quick things, try and simplify some things for you. Everybody at this point will have already seen the District 6540 site, and just to prove that we are as responsive to questions and requests as possible, in the last 2 hours, it's been changed a little bit. Because after Steve Sorensen's presentation yesterday, I got questions on what zone was. People weren't familiar with it, so we added the link. So if you go to the district links here, and if I can manage to talk, I'll train you through this. The important things for you to notice right now would be the district files here. If you click on district files, your PE thumb drive, we were giving out physical thumb drive that's now online. These are the manuals and everything for your year. However, also under the District 6540 links, the district links here on the right, you'll now see Zone 30 link at the bottom. If you click on that, it will go to the Zone 30 website, of which we are a part. This is what Steve was talking about yesterday. We're right here, we're basically the northernmost part of Zone 30. Well, one of the things that they have on their site here is all kinds of resources, videos and everything else. Links to the public image, links to the brand center, things for our zone. If you go through and click through, they also have webinars. Now the district is just starting to try and get into a lot of these. We're going to be offering more and more as time goes on. The zone also offers membership and everything else. You can also view their pre-recordeds if you're looking for a replacement for a speaker. this is one of the resources you can use. As you're going, as you're going through the webinar links, it has a lot of different training on here. Membership and growth, membership minutes. We were talking about the Rotary minutes before. These are a great way to just click through. You don't have to do a lot of searching. They're there as a PDF, and they're readily available. On Rotary resources, the checklists we've talked about. They're on our file site, they're here, they're on Rotary.org. If you can't find them, holler, I'll email them to you. We want to make sure that any information that you're looking for is readily accessible. We were talking about setting the goals. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of time, so I can't dig through it too deep. However, if you click here on Rotary Club Central through their webinar resources, you can open up the link here for setting a goal. It's pretty self-explanatory. Once you click into the goals, it's just a matter of selecting the amounts, the members. It's relatively straightforward. Yes?
Can you say where you found that site again?
Yeah. If you go to our website, the Rotary 6540.org, go to the district links and go to the zone link. When you click on the zone link, you can go to the events and then go down here to zone webinars. And these are the webinars that I was just talking about that you can review. And then if you go up here to resources, it's got all the resources that I was just referring to, including the ones for Rotary Club Central. And it has the nice walkthroughs for service activities, progress on goals, and setting a goal.
Which one did you, under resources?
Yeah, if you click on resources
Okay.
and go to club and membership, it takes you to the main page. Has a nice picture of the 3 Rotarians. And then if you just scroll down a little bit, it's got the membership and growth opportunity, and right below that is the membership toolkit. The bottom thing here on the membership toolkit is Rotary Club Central. You see it?
Yes. Of how to set a goal.
The governance documents are on there. The governance documents are on our site too.
Has it been helpful to you?
One of the other things, as we were talking about, we really encourage communication between the clubs. If you're looking for your other officers, one of the questions that I had yesterday was, how do I find that? Well, if you scroll down on the Rotary District 6540.org page, we have a big red button here on the left that's a club locator. You click on that. This is a listing of all the clubs in the district and who their current club president is. So if you need to contact your year after July 1st, these will automatically change to be your equivalents for your year. And it shows where the club meeting is, it shows the club venues. So for instance, if I go down here to my home club, the Rensselaer Club, well, Johnny's doing a 2-year term. He was the club president this year, he's going to be the club president next year. But it also shows when we meet, and if you click on the map, it comes up with our meeting location. And this is what we were talking about. As long as the information has been updated in Club Runner, all of these resources, when you go to look at another club or when somebody goes to look at your club, will all come up correctly. And I think I've actually driven us over time a little bit. But does anybody have any quick questions before we adjourn? I know I've blazed through that pretty quick, but unfortunately we're running a little short on time, and I hate going over it. Yes, Bob.
As a seasoned Rotarian, I should understand all of this, but I have to say something that's really confusing is the relationship between RI, Rotary Club Central, Club Runner, My Rotary. Can you just give a quick family tree of how they're related for everyone?
This is the
Is
easiest
everyone
thing.
else finding it confusing?
Yes.
Okay.
This is my illustration that I always use. When we enter in information in Club Runner, it'll go to the Club Runner for the district, and then RI.O. That RI sync we were talking about yesterday is this red line to come back to verify the information. It will not overwrite anything, but you have to go into the RI sync in order to verify it.
Have you sent out like communications on what the minimum amount of information that needs to be in Club Runner in order for all this to happen?
We're going through that in different webinars that we're training on. We just had Monday, one for secretaries. We're hoping as we ramp up and do more of these webinars, we'll get better participation. That one was one that was more of a base level. It was more of how to put in people, how to do attendance, how to do the basic tasks that we've covered this weekend. Bobby, this may also answer your question a little better. Because this is the way we want to do it, preferred, secondary, involved. Because as long as you're putting it in at your club runner for the club, as long as the club has it, it will transition to the other two. Now, if your club doesn't have club runner, you can still go to the district club runner and put in the information, and then it will go to RI. But you can always go to RI.org and put in the information directly. Well, that's where we were talking about the sync stuff yesterday. You have to, at that point, manually accept changes that they propose back to Club Runner. It will not automatically override. The Club Runner information automatically transmits with the RA sync. And if you want to catch me afterwards, we'll talk about it in a little bit better detail. Any other questions?
Chris, just to confirm again for them, all of these slides are going to be on the district
No.
6540. Where are they going to be able to find them so it's quick and easy for them?
The slides themselves, if you go to the district website, scroll all the way down the left, and here it says homepage download files. These are all the files, these are all the presentations. Here's one for the grant one we just did. We'll be putting these slides up there, but the videos of the sessions that we did, that's the camera in the corner, are actually going to be here under the district links for the district YouTube channel.
6540.
So everything we've talked about, you'll see up here in the next 2 weeks. Unfortunately, I've got to go home and sleep before I can try and upload stuff. So give me a couple.
They go to district files.
Would all of you please thank Chris for all Okay, so our goal, just real quickly, we wanted you to learn something. We wanted you to accomplish something. And now we want you to do something. So, in 3 words, inspire, aspire, and of course, perspire. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
That's too many short ones. I got that
Safe travels. They said that 94 was ice this morning.